Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good morning to Dr. Siti and Mariam. Today we're gonna presenting about documentary of wetlands. This is our group member. Number 1 is me, Muhammad Khairul Khalis bin Khairul Asra. Number 2, Abdul Halim bin Rusli. Next, Nur Fahana Jan binti Ahmad and Nurul Fatihah binti Zakaria. Number 1, definition of wetlands. Simply state, wetlands are part of our landscape that are defined by the presence of water. More specifically, wetlands are areas where the presence of water determines and influences most of an area's biogeochemistry, that is the biological, physical, and chemical characteristic of a particular site. Two general characteristics of wetlands are recognized. Number 1 is coastal and inland.
There are a few types of wetlands that exist in this world. What and where are they? How do they look like? The first one is freshwater swamp. It can be found on the flat land around lakes and streams, where the water table is high and the runoff is low, and they are also common in tropical area near to equator. Freshwater swamp has tree, woody shrub, and also water-tolerant plants such as lilies. Their water level was influenced by the seasonal flood and rainwater. Amphibians like frogs, mammals, reptiles, and insects can be found here. The next one is saltwater swamp. Saltwater swamp is found when the mud or sand thinly covered by the seawater during high tide and usually found in the tropical coastline. The saltwater swamp have mudflat and brackish water with a variety of salinities. Mangrove plant and habitat for fish, insect, and also bird can be found here. The third one is freshwater marshes, which is often found 100 km from the coast and mostly lie in the prairie pothole region of North America. The common plant that usually found here is sawgrass, cypress, and mangrove. It has a fertile soil and temperate climate. Diversity of wildlife, wading bird, insect, fish, and rodent also can be found here. This is also a home to a rare species of orchid. Then, saltwater marshes can be found around the sea coast, barrier bar and beaches, and in estuaries. They can be found extensive in desert and other arid region which is overflowed by the water with high concentration of salt. They particularly in the middle to high latitude. Saltwater marshes is dominated by the grasses and layer of algae. They compose of deep mud and peat. They are home to the saltwater crocodile and variety of birds. They provide food and shelter for fungi, algae, shellfish, amphibian, and reptile. Then there are bog. This wetland is more common in cold or even Arctic area in North America, Europe, and Asia. They also exist at high latitude in warmer regions such as Sierra Nevada in the US. Bog has spongy peat deposit. The water is very acidic and not suitable for the plant growth. It receives most of their water from precipitation such as from snow, sleet, and rain. The last one is fen. Fen is found when the water collected at the base of a hill or groundwater is discharged at a localized point. They also can be found when the glacier retreated. Fen has grasses and sedges which often look like a meadow. They have greater exchange of water and less acidic. They also have a peat deposit in them. Their water comes from the surface or groundwater sources, and it is a home to bird, insect, amphibian, and mammals.
Next is the benefit of wetland in our ecosystem. Firstly, wetland act as a wildlife nursery because of its unique location between the water and land, salt and fresh water. Wetland shelter more than 1/3 of the country's endangered species, according to the Environmental Protection Service Agency. Secondly, wetland act as storm buffer. Scientists have estimated that every 3 miles of healthy wetlands could trim about 1 foot of a storm surge. In fact, wetland provide 23.2 billion per year in a storm protection services alone. Thirdly, wetland act as a flood control. Wetlands functions like a sponge, soaking up water that comes with the tiles or from periodically flooding rivers. In fact, they control floods much more effectively than any flood wall.
The next is role of the wetland ecosystem in mitigation of the climate change. So we can see here it can be divided into two, which are global scale and local scale. Both of them affect in the reduction of the climate change. So we start with global scale. First, it acts as carbon dioxide absorption, where the wetland has the high productivity in escape, which capable to trap and store organic carbon. And second role for global scale is climate regulation by release amount of carbon dioxide to atmosphere, where it depends on the type of soil condition. First role on local scale is act as pollution removal. where it can improve water quality by removing pollutant from the surface water. And the second role for local scale is water retention, like control the flow.
Then, what kind of threat will destroy the wetlands area? Firstly, wetlands are drained for agriculture and construction activities. Wetlands are often viewed as a wasteland, and there is no second thought to draining the land and clearing its vegetations to serve the people's need and greed. Secondly, climate change is destroying wetlands habitat. Wetlands suffering from the temperature increase, rising the sea levels until the coastal wetlands are being submerged or drowned. Thirdly, pollution is killing the flora and fauna at the wetlands. The polluted water that wash into the wetlands get purified as it leaves the wetland. However, when the concentrations of pollutant across the saturation level and more toxic contaminant enter the wetlands through water, the species in the area are struggle to survive.
So in my opinion, the best platform to raise the awareness on wetland important to public is by social media. Because the social media is effective and modern way in providing the awareness to all people. Plus, it also in line with the use of technology gadget in this era. So as we can see here, by social media about awareness of the important wetland to public, because the people always update issue by social media, and it also the quick to receive information and easily influence to all people, and also by the social media it through accurate and reliable info.
And that's all from us. Thank you for watching the video.